Shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Back at it again. This is just going to be like a quick update on just the dress code in general. I know I've made a video in the past concerning a specific topic, commenting on a specific channel's video about women and their attire and things like that. But this is just going to go across the whole board. Just going to run through these laws concerning the dress code of a righteous man and woman. And you may think, well, God doesn't care about what we wear. We're going to see about that right now. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, the book of Sirach, chapter 19 and verse, I'm going to start with 29. A man may be known by his look, and one that hath understanding by his countenance when thou meetest him. They say don't judge a book by its cover, but that's the whole reason why they have covers. All right. The whole reason why God told you a dress code in the first place is because that's how you may be known. A man's attire and excessive laughter and gait show what he is. So what you wear show the type of person that you are. Right? So we're going to get into this. The laws concerning what we wear. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 5. I'm going to start right here. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. Right? So this verse starts off talking about the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, because they know that's going to be the biggest issue. The Lord already knew, hey, this is the most important part of this. So what is this talking about? Let's get Exodus 28. Because Exodus came before Deuteronomy. We know this. This is the first time that pants were introduced in history. This is the book of Exodus 28. I'm going to start with verse 41. And thou shalt put them upon Aaron thy brother and his sons with him. So it didn't say his sons and his daughters. It said Aaron and his sons. And shalt anoint them and consecrate them and sanctify them, that they may minister unto me in the priest's office. And thou shalt make them linen breeches, or as we call them here in the South, breeches. It's the same thing. To cover their nakedness, from the loins even unto the thighs shall they reach. So these were what we know as short pants or shorts. But when it was colder, they would be longer. So this is the first institution of pants in history. But also in the Bible, they were made for Aaron and his sons, the priests, right? So maybe you want to say, oh, well, that was just the priests. That wasn't for all the men of Israel. Here we go in Daniel chapter 3. I'm going to start with verse 21. No, I'm going to start with 20. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. This is Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, men of the tribe of Judah, according to Daniel, the first chapter, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Their hosen. What does the word hosen mean? You just look up the word hosen on Google. It'll show you it's a German word for pants. That's what it is. So, it wasn't just the priests who had pants. It was all the men throughout Israel of every tribe. So, with that, let's go to Deuteronomy 22 and verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. Women didn't even start wearing pants until the last century. Now everybody thinks that women pants are okay. Are men's skirts okay? Are men dresses okay? Because that's what you're saying. You're saying that all attire is gender neutral. That's what you're saying. When God clearly put a difference and said, the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. A woman's garment is a dress or a skirt. And that's why they push this with rappers. Let's check this thing out right here. You got Jaden Smith, Kid Cudi, Nas X, of course. I don't know who this is. I can't really tell. But they got Snoop Dogg. They got Young Thug. Oh yeah, I guess it might be like Tory Lanez or whatever. P Diddy, Ye at one point is not showing him right here, but this ASAP Rocky, they got all of them. Most Def, they got Most Def. So if you thought Black Thought, well they righteous, they own something. Well, Most Def, they got Most Def right here. Who's this? Oh yeah, that's Snoop. Snoop is specifically wearing the masonry thing. Same with Diddy right here. So like that's why they push this with your rappers. They push your rappers to wear dresses. It's not just the rappers though. They got Eddie Murphy with the Nutty Professor and Norbit. They got Eddie Murphy with Nutty Professor and the Norbit. They got Martin Lawrence with Big Mama in that series. They told Dave Chappelle to do it. He said I wasn't gonna do it. That's when his career went in the toilet. That's why they push this thing, because it is directly in opposition to God's laws. It says, the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. I shouldn't have to show y'all women in pants. We know what women in pants looks like. If you need to see it, here's an example. That's unrighteous. Even in this situation, I tried to find a photo that was not very revealing. Even in this situation, it's not righteous. It's what men wear. All right. Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. There's no such thing as a men's skirt. There's no such thing as a women. Women pants. There's no such thing as kilts that men are supposed to wear. No. It says, for all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God. A hateful thing. God hates all abomination. God hates the cross-dressers. It is what it is. But you might say, oh, what about women wearing short skirts and tight dresses? That ain't righteous either. The book of 1 Timothy 2 and verse 9, it says, in like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel. In modest apparel. So what's modest? Let's go ahead and look that up on Google, because you might not know what modest means. Let's look up modest. Let's look up modest dresses. I saw that pop up too. Modest skirts. Let's look up some of those. You see these modest skirts? Ones that come down past the knee. Ones that aren't very revealing. So this is modest apparel. This is modest apparel right here. Not very revealing. Come down past the knee. Modest apparel. Okay. If y'all need an example, there you go. Let's go 1 Timothy 2. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety. So shamefacedness would be you not wanting to get in a man's face, not wanting to look him directly in the eye. That's shamefacedness. Sobriety. And of course, sobriety not only with drugs and alcohol, because you see that out here today, commonplace, always smoking weed, drinking, but also in doctrine. You're sober in doctrine. Not with broided hair or gold or pearls or costly array. And this is talking about women who only focus on their appearance, but inside, you know that there is no substance. I know we all know women like that, who only care about what they look like, and then you actually try to talk to them, you actually try to speak to them, and you can tell there's just nothing on the inside. That is just, very shallow. That's what it's talking about. Don't be shallow. All right. So we covered how men are supposed to wear pants. Women are supposed to wear dresses, modest dresses, right? Skirts. But there's another part of the dress code that is very important. All right. Here in Numbers 15, and I'm going to start with 37. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the border of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue. All right, so here in modern times, Israelites, at least I was taught, men usually put the fringes on the shirt, women usually put the fringes on the skirt. But if you go back in history with Gadites, you see, back then, we would just put fringes on everything, deck fringes out on everything, and you see the border of blue. You see it on the pants, you see it on the shirt, you see it all around the shirt, right? And you can look up American Indian garments. It's going to show you the same thing. It's going to be all over, right? So, if you want to put fringes all over, you can, but as long as the fringes are on one of your garments, you're keeping the commandments. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart, or your own eyes, after which ye use to go a-whoring. So the point is to remember the commandments. And remember what it said in Sirach 19, that your attire show what you is. People see the fringes and they know. They say, oh, that man's an Israelite. Whether they admit it or not, a lot of times people already know that they see the fringes and they say, oh, this man got some understanding. Sometimes they'll mention it to you. I've been approached like that before. They see my fringes and they say, oh, okay, I see you know what you're talking about. I see you know the scriptures. So it's going to show not only that you know you're an Israelite, but that you're keeping the commandments. That ye may remember and do all my commandments and be holy unto your God. And that's really the point, to help yourself. Remember the commandments. I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord your God. So, we talked about men wearing pants, women wearing skirts or dresses, and putting fringes upon your garments. So, that is the dress code according to God. One thing that I forgot to mention, I'll probably just splice this in the middle of the video or whatever, but one thing that I forgot to cover whenever I recorded this originally was the head covering, all right, and concerning that situation. So I'm going to start here in 1 Corinthians 11 and 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God. So that's the order. God, Christ, man, woman. That's the order that God ordained. Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head, meaning you dishonor Christ. And this is where the custom of whenever a prayer is going on, you take your hat off, right? If people wear hats, I know people have seen that before within the Christian church. That actually is biblical. But every woman praying or prophesying with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head. For that is even all one, as if she were shaven. So the same way it would dishonor a woman to shave her head bald in front of everyone, it's the same way that if a woman prays without a head covering, this dishonors her man. For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of God, but the woman is the glory of the man. And see, that's why man should not cover his head when he is praying or prophesying, but it's the opposite for a woman. She needs a head covering whenever she's praying or prophesying. And I got this picture right here just to show you what a righteous woman looks like. As it says, the real Proverbs 31 woman, you got the head covering and uses the scripture to show justification. The meek and humble spirit wears the fringes, and then she has modest apparel and a skirt on. So this is what a righteous woman is supposed to look like. Head covering, skirt, and fringes. So, get back into it. You fall in line, you keep the commandments. That's what God would have you do. And this is why. Because you think, oh, God don't care about what I wear. He ain't going to punish me for that. This is Zephaniah 1 and 8. And it shall come to pass in the day of the Lord's sacrifice. The day of the Lord's sacrifice is the day of the Lord. As was the day of the Lord's sacrifice. That I will punish, it's the day of punishment, the day of judgment, the princes. That's what Israel means, prince of God. and the king's children, we are the children of God, and all such as are clothed with strange apparel. God's going to punish those who are clothed with strange apparel. Apparel meaning clothes. So, if you don't dress accordingly, God's going to kill you.